1. Alright folks, let's dive a little deeper into this 1976 Mercury Marquise. This car is a true representation of the era when gas was cheap, and cars were built like tanks. The Marquise was a full-size luxury car that embodied the essence of the 1970s, and this particular example seems to have stood the test of time. Under the hood, you'll find a massive 460 cubic inch V8 engine. That's 7.5 liters of pure, unadulterated American muscle. While it might not be the most fuel-efficient engine out there, it's got the power to get you where you need to go with authority. And with only 120,000 miles on the clock, this engine still has a lot of life left in it. The automatic transmission is said to shift smoothly, which is a testament to the build quality of these old-school transmissions. You can expect a comfortable ride thanks to the Marquis' plush suspension and spacious interior. And with features like cruise control and power windows, this car was ahead of its time in terms of luxury and convenience. Now, the seller does mention a couple of issues, but let's be real. These are minor concerns when you're dealing with a classic car. The electrical gremlins causing the lights to sometimes go off? That's just a chance for you to get your hands dirty and learn a thing or two about automotive electrical systems. And the non-functioning gas gauge? Well, that's just a reminder to always keep your tank topped up. These quirks add to the character of the car and give you an opportunity to put your own personal touch on it. The exterior of the car looks to be in good shape, with a clean white paint job and no visible signs of major damage. The fact that it's avoided any wrecks or deer strikes is a big plus, as these can be costly to repair. And with a clean title, you can be sure that you're getting a car with a clear history. But here's the kicker: the trunk. This thing is massive, and it comes with 4 extra rims and 3 studded tires. That's like getting a whole second set of wheels for free. Whether you're looking to switch up the look of your ride or just want some extra peace of mind, during the winter months, these extras are a serious value add. At the end of the day, this 1976 Mercury Marquis is a car with a story to tell. It's got a few quirks, sure, but that's all part of the charm. If you're looking for a classic car that's got power, style, and a whole lot of personality, this Marquis might just be the one for you. So don't hesitate. Get out there and make this piece of automotive history yours. 2. We've got a real gem for you. A 1980 Chevrolet Monte Carlo that's just begging for a new owner to give it some love. This classic ride is up for grabs on Craigslist for just $4,000, and let me tell you, it's got some serious potential. First things first, let's talk about the body. The seller claims that this is the most solid 1980 Monte Carlo you'll find in Minnesota. And from the looks of it, they might just be right. The frame has minimal rust, and the body is in great shape, just waiting for a fresh coat of paint to really make it shine. Imagine cruising down the street in your very own training day clone. Talk about turning heads. Now, I've got to be honest with you. This car is still a project. It's not perfect, and it does have an issue with the starter. But hey, that's just part of the fun, right? The seller says it runs, drives, and stops, so you've got a solid foundation to work with. Under the hood, you'll find a beefy 8-cylinder engine that's ready to roar. The Edelbrock carb was gone through last summer, so you know it's been well maintained. Plus, the car comes with all new premium plugs, wires, cap, and rotor, as well as a new starter and battery. And if you're looking to upgrade the brakes, the seller even includes new rear drums, though they're not installed yet. The interior does need some work, but that's just an opportunity to put your own personal touch on this classic ride. The seller includes a few miscellaneous parts like the dash instrument cluster, driver's side mirror, and rear glass, so you've got a head start on your restoration project. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but what about that rust? Well, the seller is upfront about it. There's a small area on the driver's side floor pan that needs to be patched, but they assure us it's an easy fix. And with a clean Minnesota title in hand, you can buy with confidence knowing that this car has a clear history. At the end of the day, this 1980 Chevrolet Monte Carlo is a project car with a ton of potential. It's got a solid foundation, a powerful engine, and a classic look that never goes out of style. If you're ready to roll up your sleeves and give this car the love it deserves, then don't hesitate. Make it yours today. 3. We've got a real treat for you. A 1972 Pontiac Luxury Le Mans that's looking for a new home. This classic beauty is up for grabs on Craigslist for $12,000 or best offer. And let me tell you, it's got a whole lot of charm. First off, let's talk about the heart of this beast. Under the hood, you'll find the original 400 cubic inch engine, paired with the original TH400 transmission. This combo has been powering the Le Mans for an impressive 121,756 miles. And according to the seller, it still runs great. Sure, it needs a new battery to get started after sitting for a year, but that's just a minor detail. The fuel has been treated with stable, so you know it's been well cared for. Now, let's talk about the upgrades. The Le Mans came from the factory with a 2-barrel setup, but the seller has gone ahead and fitted it with a 4-barrel quadrajet intake and carb from 1971 and 1972, respectively. And if you're a stickler for originality, don't worry. The seller has the original 2-barrel carb, intake, and air cleaner in a box, ready to go. The car also sports a 1976 HD Trans Am front sway bar and a Thrush glass pack on the single exhaust, giving it a little extra attitude. The Le Mans rides on a set of Rally 2s wrapped in BF Goodrich radial TA tires, two 2570 R14s in the back, and two 1570 R14s up front. It's a classic look that never goes out of style. Now, I've got to be honest with you. This car does need some work. The power steering hoses need to be replaced, but the seller has already sourced the replacement hoses from UAP Napa. The trunk lid torsion bars also need some attention, and there are a few spots of rust and bodywork that need to be addressed, like a small rust bubble on the driver's side door, some bubbling under the vinyl roof at the rear window, and a dent in the driver's side quarter panel. The driver's seat also has some wear from the seatbelt. But here's the thing, the rest of the car is in good shape. It was originally painted cameo white, but a previous owner gave it a wine red makeover back in 1982. And if you're worried about security, the car even has a BCAA-installed ignition interlock anti-theft system. The seller has all the owner's documentation, service records, and receipts dating back to 1981, all in digital format. And if you want to complete the look, they even have the fender skirts that came with the luxury Le Mans. At the end of the day, this 1972 Pontiac Luxury Le Mans is a classic car with a ton of potential. It's got a strong engine, some cool upgrades, and a whole lot of history. If you're ready to take on a project and give this beauty the love it deserves, then don't hesitate. Make an offer and make it yours. 4. We're diving into a classic beauty that's up for grabs on Craigslist. Get ready to feast your eyes on a 1966 Ford Thunderbird, and boy, does this bird have a story to tell. First off, let's talk about the price. At just $9,500, this Thunderbird is a steal for any collector or enthusiast looking for a piece of American automotive history. But hey, before you start reaching for your wallet, let's take a closer look at what this classic has to offer. According to the seller's description, this 66 T-Bird is in good condition. That's right, no rust, no dents, and no Bondo in sight. It's a southern car hailing from Valdosta, Georgia, which means it's been soaking up that sweet, sweet sunshine. The exterior is a stunning bluish silver that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. Under the hood, you'll find a mighty 390 cubic inch V8 engine, ready to roar to life. Paired with an automatic transmission, this Thunderbird is a smooth operator on the road. And get this, it's even got air conditioning. Well, sort of. The seller does mention that the AC isn't working at the moment, but hey, that's just an opportunity for a little DIY project, right? The interior is clean as a whistle, and the odometer shows just 83,000 miles. That's barely broken in for a classic like this. The seller even claims that this bird is ready to drive anywhere, so you can hit the open road with confidence. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What's the catch? Well, the seller is just downsizing their collection, which means they've got too many sweet rides and not enough space. Their loss is your gain. In summary, this 1966 Ford Thunderbird Town Coupe is a gem waiting for a new owner to give it some love. It's got a clean title, a solid body, and a whole lot of character. So, if you're ready to spread your wings and fly with a classic, this T-Bird might just be the one for you. Don't let this opportunity soar away. 5. We've got a real treat for you. We're talking about a 1967 Oldsmobile Holiday that's currently up for grabs on Craigslist. And let me tell you, this beauty is sure to make your heart skip a beat. First things first, let's talk about the price. The seller is asking $15,000 for this classic ride, but they're also open to offers. So if you're ready to negotiate and make this holiday your own, there might be some wiggle room. Now let's dive into the juicy details. According to the seller, this Oldsmobile Holiday Coupe is in good condition. That's music to any car lover's ears. The car boasts a 330 CI 4-barrel engine, paired with a 2-speed Power Glide transmission. And get this, it's got power steering, power brakes, and even factory air conditioning. Talk about cruising in style. The seller mentions that the car is mostly original, which is a huge plus for any collector. There's no rust to be found, and the car has been well maintained over the years. The interior is also original, featuring an AM radio that still works like a charm. And while the car has been repainted at some point, the seller assures us that the top is in very good shape. But here's the real kicker. The seller has owned this beauty for a whopping 11 years. You know what that means? This holiday has been cherished and cared for by someone who truly appreciates classic cars. And now, it's time for them to pass the torch to a new owner who will give this Oldsmobile the love it deserves. The seller claims that the car runs and drives well, so you can hop behind the wheel and hit the road with confidence. Imagine cruising down the street in this stunning yellow coupe, turning heads and making everyone green with envy. In summary, this 1967 Oldsmobile Holiday Coupe is a rare find that's sure to make any car enthusiast weak in the knees. With its original features, clean title, and solid condition, this classic is ready for its next adventure. And who knows, maybe you'll be the lucky one to take it home. 6. We've got a real gem to talk about, a 1983 Oldsmobile Delta 88 that's currently up for grabs on Craigslist. And let me tell you, this ride is not your average classic car. It's a true time capsule. First off, let's address the price. The seller is asking $10,500 for this beauty, and when you hear about all the amazing features and the condition it's in, you'll understand why. According to the seller, this Delta 88 is in excellent condition. That's right, folks, excellent. The car has only clocked in 61,000 actual miles, which is incredibly low for a vehicle of this age. It's clear that this Oldsmobile has been cherished and well maintained by its previous owners. Under the hood, you'll find a 307 V8 Oldsmobile engine that's ready to purr like a kitten. And get this, the transmission has been recently rebuilt, so you can expect a smooth and reliable ride. But that's not all. The seller also mentions that the car has ice-cold air conditioning. That's right, you can cruise in comfort even on the hottest summer days. The seller has also taken care of some important updates, like installing new tires and a new battery. So, you won't have to worry about any immediate maintenance issues. But here's what really sets this Delta 88 apart. It's a true time capsule. The seller claims that everything works, even the clock. It's rare to find a classic car that has been so well preserved and maintains its original features. The car comes with a clean and clear title, so you can have peace of mind knowing that there are no hidden surprises. And if you're wondering about trades, the seller is not interested. They're looking for a serious buyer who appreciates the value of this incredible machine. In summary, this 1983 Oldsmobile Delta 88 is a rare find that's sure to make any car enthusiast's heart skip a beat. With its low mileage, excellent condition, and time capsule status, this classic is ready to be enjoyed by a new owner. If you're in the market for a piece of automotive history that's been impeccably maintained, this Delta 88 might just be the one for you. 7. We've got a real treat for you, a 1980 Avanti 2 that's currently up for grabs on Craigslist. This classic beauty is a rare find, and it's ready for a new owner to take the wheel. First things first, let's talk about the price. The seller is asking $14,000 for this Avanti 2, which might seem a bit steep at first glance. But trust me, when you hear about the history and potential of this car, you'll understand why it's worth every penny. According to the seller, this Avanti 2 is in good condition. It's got a 350 cubic inch V8 engine paired with a 350 automatic transmission, which means plenty of power and smooth shifting. The car also features power steering and power brakes, making it a breeze to handle on the road. Now, here's where things get really interesting. This particular Avanti 2 was manufactured in West Virginia and is one of only 190 produced for the 1980 model year. That's right, folks. This car is a true rarity. The seller mentions that this Avanti di Secu is an excellent candidate for restoration. While you could drive it as is, there's also the opportunity to give it some TLC and bring it back to its former glory. Imagine the satisfaction of cruising down the street in a beautifully restored classic car that's sure to turn heads. But don't worry, if you're not ready to dive into a restoration project just yet, the seller assures us that this Avanti 2 is ready to hit the road. It's been smogged and is good to go, with low miles on the odometer. Just 94,547 to be exact. The car's exterior boasts a stunning blue paint color that's sure to catch the eye of any classic car lover. And with a clean title, you can have peace of mind knowing that there are no hidden surprises lurking in this Avanti's past. Now, here's the kicker. The seller mentions that this is the last time they're offering this Avanti 2 before it goes into storage. So, if you've been dreaming of owning a piece of automotive history, this might just be your last chance to make it a reality. In summary, this 1980 Avanti 2 is a rare gem that's ready for a new chapter. Whether you're looking for a restoration project or a classic car to enjoy as is, this Avanti 2 has plenty to offer. With its good condition, low miles, and clean title, it's a solid choice for any enthusiast. But don't wait too long. This opportunity might slip away faster than you think. 8. We've got a real icon in the spotlight, a 1966 Ford Mustang that's waiting for a new owner on Craigslist. This classic pony car is a true piece of American automotive history, and it's ready for a new chapter. First off, let's talk about the price. The seller is asking $10,000 for this Mustang, which might seem like a hefty sum at first. But when you consider the potential and the extras that come with this car, it starts to look like a pretty sweet deal. Now, let's dive into the details. According to the seller, this Mustang is in good condition. It's got a 302 Boss engine under the hood, which is sure to get your heart racing. Plus, it's equipped with power steering and disc brakes, making it a bit more modern and easier to handle than some other classics. The seller mentions that there are lots of extras included with this Mustang, which is always a bonus. The car has a clean title, so you won't have to worry about any legal hassles. And while there's a little rust present, the seller assures us that there are no dents on this beauty. But here's where things get a bit tricky. The seller admits that this Mustang used to be their daily driver, but due to concerns about theft in San Francisco, they stored it in Guerneville. Unfortunately, the car has been sitting in the same spot for a few years, and it's no longer in running condition. That means you'll need to tow it out of its current location and be prepared to put in some work to get it back on the road. However, the seller emphasizes that this Mustang would be a great project car. Everything is there and complete, so you won't have to hunt down missing parts. It just needs some TLC and mechanical attention to get it running again. And let's be real, there's something incredibly satisfying about bringing a classic car back to life with your own two hands. The seller is upfront about their reasons for selling. They simply don't have the space or time to work on the car themselves. That means this Mustang is ready for a new owner who has the passion, skills, and garage space to give it the attention it deserves. In summary, this 1966 Ford Mustang is a classic car lover's dream. It's got a strong engine, plenty of extras, and a clean title. While it does need some work to get it back on the road, it's a solid foundation for an incredible project. If you're up for the challenge and have $10,000 to invest, this Mustang might just be the perfect addition to your garage. 9. We've got a real treat for all you project car lovers out there. We're talking about a 1981 GMC Caballero that's currently up for grabs on Craigslist. And let me tell you, this baby is just waiting for someone to give it some TLC and make it shine. First things first, let's talk about the price. The seller's asking $4,000 for this Caballero, which might seem like a bit of a steal considering all the work that's already been put into it. But as with any project car, it's important to keep in mind that there's still some elbow grease required to get it to where you want it to be. Now, let's dive into the details. The seller mentions that this Caballero is a solid project car. They've already started the work, but unfortunately, they're too busy to see it through to the end. That means it's up to you to take the reins and make this Caballero your own. Under the hood, you'll find a V8 engine that's been given some love. The seller has installed a new aluminum intake, a Holley 650 carburetor, a camshaft, lifters, and a timing chain. That's a solid foundation for a powerful and reliable ride. Plus, they've even tackled some of the steering and braking components, including a new power steering gearbox, front calipers, and pads. The seller has also given this Caballero a fresh set of rims and tires, which is always a nice touch. And here's the real kicker. The body and bed of this truck are said to be solid. The seller even mentions that it's supposedly a Texas vehicle, which could mean it's been spared from the harsh rust-inducing winters of other regions. Now, it's important to note that the seller doesn't explicitly state the condition of this Caballero. They do say it's a project car, so it's safe to assume that there's still work to be done. But based on the description, it sounds like this GMC has a solid foundation and a lot of potential. The paint color is listed as black, which is a classic choice for a truck like this. And with a clean title, you can have peace of mind knowing that there aren't any legal hurdles to jump through. In summary, this 1981 GMC Caballero is a project car that's ready for a new owner to take the wheel. With a V8 engine, new parts, and a solid body, it's got a lot of potential. And at $4,000, it could be a great investment for someone who's willing to put in the time and effort to make it a real head-turner. 10, we've got a real treat for all you Camaro lovers out there. We're talking about a 1983 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 that's currently up for grabs on Craigslist. And let me tell you, this baby is ready to hit the road and turn some heads. First off, let's talk about the price. The seller is asking $5,500 for this Camaro, which seems like a pretty fair deal considering all the work that's been put into it. But, as with any used car, it's always a good idea to do your due diligence and check it out in person before making a final decision. Now, let's dive into the juicy details. This 83 Camaro is a Z28 model, which means it's got some serious performance chops. Under the hood, you'll find a 305 V8 engine paired with a 700 R4 automatic transmission. The seller mentions that the transmission has been professionally rebuilt, so you can have peace of mind, knowing that it's ready to handle all the power this Camaro can dish out. The exterior of this Camaro is painted in a sleek black, which is always a classic choice for a muscle car. It's riding on a set of 16 IROC wheels, wrapped in brand new Cooper 245 tires. The seller notes that the tires have less than 300 miles on them, so you'll have plenty of grip for those spirited drives. But that's not all. This Camaro has also received some recent upgrades. The ignition components and alternator have been replaced, ensuring that it fires up reliably every time. And if you're a fan of a little extra rumble, you'll be happy to know that it's got a dual exhaust system and a mild cam. The seller mentions that they bought this Camaro from the original owners and have gotten it road ready again. That's always a good sign, as it suggests that the car has been well cared for throughout its life. The odometer has rolled over, which is not uncommon for a car of this age, but the current reading is 157,000 miles. Now, the seller does note that there are a few surface rust spots, but they assure us that it's nothing major. The interior is said to be in good shape, although it is missing the headliner. But hey, that just means you've got an opportunity to put your own personal touch on this classic ride. The seller describes this Camaro as a very fast, loud, and fun car to drive. And with a clean title, you can hit the road with confidence. They're asking $5,500, but they also mention that they might be open to trades for an older wagon. So, if you've got a cool wagon collecting dust in your garage, this could be your chance to trade up to a sweet Camaro. In summary, this 1983 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 is a classic muscle car that's ready for a new owner. With a strong V8 engine, a rebuilt transmission, and some recent upgrades, it's got a lot to offer. Sure, it's got a few minor flaws, but that's all part of the charm of owning a vintage ride. If you're in the market for a fun, fast, and loud car, this Camaro might just be the one for you. 11. I've got a real treat for you, a 1966 AMC Marlin that's up for grabs on Craigslist for just $13,000. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What's an AMC Marlin? Well, let me tell you, this car is a true gem from the golden age of American automobiles. First off, just look at that stunning turquoise aqua exterior paint job. It's a real head-turner that's sure to make you stand out from the crowd. And with only 50,588 miles on the odometer, this baby has barely been broken in. Under the hood, you'll find an original 287 cubic inch V8 engine that pumps out a respectable 201 horsepower. Paired with a Flash-O-Matic automatic transmission, this car is a blast to drive. And with features like power steering and power brakes, it's as easy to handle as it is on the eyes. Now, I know the seller mentions that the interior could use some attention, but hey, that's just an opportunity to put your own personal touch on this classic ride. And with a new carpet kit and hood insulator ready to be installed, you're already halfway there. But here's the real kicker. This Marlin is a true survivor. It's spent its life in warm, dry climates like Arizona and California, so you won't find any pesky rust hiding underneath. And with a full set of service documents, original keys, and even a spare set of hubcaps, you can tell this car has been loved and cared for over the years. So if you're looking for a unique, fun, and reliable classic car that's sure to turn heads wherever you go, this 1966 AMC Marlin might just be the one for you. Trust me, with its rare halo car status, you won't find many others like it out there. So don't miss your chance to own a piece of American automotive history. Head on over to Craigslist and check it out for yourself. 12. We're diving into the world of classic American luxury with this 1981 Cadillac Eldorado that's up for grabs on Craigslist. With an asking price of just $4,500, this could be your chance to own a piece of automotive history. Now, I want to be straight with you. The seller does mention that this Eldorado needs some repairs. But hey, that's part of the charm of owning a classic car, right? The opportunity to get your hands dirty and really make it your own. Despite its need for a little TLC, this Caddy still has a lot going for it. The odometer shows just 85,000 miles, which is relatively low for a car of this age. And with its 8-cylinder engine and front-wheel drive, you can bet it's got plenty of power to get you where you need to go. The green paint job is a classic color for the era, and with a clean title, you can be sure there are no hidden surprises lurking in this car's past. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Can I really trust this old Cadillac to get me all the way to California? Well, the seller seems to think so. They've even gone on record saying that this Eldorado would make the long haul to the West Coast without a hitch. But let's be real, a cross-country road trip in a 40-year-old car is not for the faint of heart. If you're up for the challenge, though, imagine the stories you could tell after cruising down Route 66 in this classic piece of American craftsmanship. So if you're in the market for a project car with a whole lot of potential, this 1981 Cadillac Eldorado might just be the one for you. Just be prepared to put in a little work to get it back to its former glory. Who knows? With a little elbow grease and some determination, you could be rolling up to your local car show in style before you know it. 13. We've got a real blast from the past. A 1983 Oldsmobile Delta 88 that's looking for a new home. And the best part? It can be yours for just $5,500. Now I know what you're thinking. A car that's almost 40 years old? What's the catch? But hear me out, because this Delta 88 has got a lot going for it. First off, can we talk about those original miles? Just 94,000 on the odometer. That's barely broken in for a car of this vintage. And with just one owner over all those years, you know this Oldsmobile has been loved and cared for like a member of the family. The seller doesn't go into a ton of detail about the car's condition, but they do say that it runs great. That's a promising sign, especially for a car that's pushing 4 decades old. And with a clean title, you can be sure there are no hidden surprises waiting for you down the road. Now, I'll be honest, a car like this isn't going to be for everyone. It's not loaded with modern conveniences like backup cameras or touchscreen infotainment systems, but if you're someone who appreciates the craftsmanship and style of a classic American sedan, this Delta 88 could be right up your alley. Imagine cruising down the highway in this big, comfy land yacht with that smooth V8 engine purring away under the hood. It's the kind of experience that's getting harder and harder to find these days, as more and more cars become bland, anonymous appliances. So if you're looking for a classic car that's got a ton of character and a great story to tell, this 1983 Oldsmobile Delta 88 might just be the one for you. And at just $5,500, it's a whole lot of car for the money. Of course, as with any classic car purchase, it's always a good idea to do your due diligence before pulling the trigger. Give it a thorough inspection, take it for a test drive, and make sure you're prepared for the inevitable maintenance and repairs that come with owning an older vehicle. But if you're up for the challenge and ready to experience a piece of American automotive history, head on over to Craigslist and check out this 1983 Oldsmobile Delta 88 for yourself. Who knows, you might just fall in love with this classic beauty. 14. We've got a real treat for you. A 1966 Mercury Montclair that's up for grabs on Craigslist for just $6,500. And let me tell you, this is a whole lot of classic American metal for the money. First off, can we talk about those original miles? Just 92,612 on the odometer. That's barely broken in for a car of this vintage. And with a clean title and no rust underneath, you can tell this Montclair has been loved and cared for over the years. Under the hood, you'll find the original 390 cubic inch V8 engine paired with an automatic transmission. And with power steering and power brakes, this big sedan is a breeze to drive. The seller has even made some recent upgrades, like a new carburetor, heat tubes, and transmission pan gasket, so you can be sure this Mercury is running like a top. Now, I know the seller mentions that the air conditioning isn't currently working, but hey, that's just an opportunity to put your own personal touch on this classic ride. And with a vintage under-dash unit already installed, you're halfway there. The exterior has been repainted in a creamy white color with some cool blue pinstriping on the hood and trunk. And while the front bumper has seen better days, the rest of the body is straight and clean. Plus, with those sweet 17-inch Riddler wheels and new shocks, this Montclair looks ready to hit the road in style. Inside, you'll find a spacious blue interior with a mix of cloth and vinyl upholstery. And with seat belts front and rear, plus a third brake light, you can cruise in comfort and safety. But here's the real kicker. The seller says this Montclair is ready for the car show season. Imagine rolling up to your local cruise-in or classic car meet in this beauty. With its classic lines, cool wheels, and tons of room for all your friends, you'll be the talk of the town. So if you're looking for a fun, reliable, and stylish classic car that won't break the bank, this 1966 Mercury Montclair might just be the one for you. And with the car show season just around the corner, now's the perfect time to make this Mercury yours. Of course, as with any classic car purchase, it's always a good idea to give it a thorough inspection before pulling the trigger. But if everything checks out, you could be cruising in style in this sweet Montclair before you know it. 15. We've got a real gem for you. A 1969 Dodge Dart that's up for grabs on Craigslist for just $3,200. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What's the catch? Well, let's dive in and take a closer look. First off, the seller says this Dart has a solid body with very little cancer. That's a big plus for any classic car, especially one that's over 50 years old, and with perfect glass all around, except for a cracked front window. You can tell this Dart has been loved and cared for over the years. Under the hood, you'll find a good running 318 cubic inch V8 engine with electronic ignition. That's a tried and true Mopar power plant that's known for its reliability and easy maintenance. And with an aluminum radiator, you can be sure this Dart will keep its cool even on the hottest summer days. Now, the seller does mention a few issues that potential buyers should be aware of. The brakes are described as very sticky, which could mean anything from a simple adjustment to a more serious problem. And with a broken odometer, it's hard to say just how many miles this Dart has traveled over the years. But here's the thing. At just $3,200, this Dart is priced to sell. Even with a few minor issues, you're getting a whole lot of classic Mopar muscle for your money. And with a clean Washington title, you can be sure there are no hidden surprises waiting for you down the road. Of course, the seller does note that this Dart will need to be trailered to its new home. That's not uncommon for a car of this age, especially one with sticky brakes. But if you're handy with a wrench, or know someone who is, getting this Dart back on the road shouldn't be too much of a challenge. Imagine cruising down the highway in this classic piece of American iron, with that big V8 rumbling away under the hood. The bright red paint job is sure to turn heads wherever you go, and with a little TLC, this Dart could be the star of your local car show circuit. So, if you're looking for a fun, affordable project car with a ton of potential, this 1969 Dodge Dart might just be the one for you. Just be prepared to put in a little work to get it back to its former glory. 16. We've got a real treat for you, a 1980 Chevrolet El Camino that's been given a new lease on life. And the best part? It can be yours for just $9,500. Now I know what you're thinking. A 40-year-old El Camino? What's the story? Well, let me tell you. This is no ordinary classic car. The seller has put a ton of work into making this El Camino a reliable daily driver that's built to last. Under the hood, you'll find a rebuilt TriStar 350 V8 engine with a 4-bolt main, paired with an AMCO rebuilt 3-speed automatic transmission, and with a new Holley Sniper 2 fuel injection system. This El Camino is ready to tackle anything you throw at it. But the upgrades don't stop there. The seller has also rebuilt the 2.21.1 rear end, steering box, alternator, and starter, so you can be sure this El Camino is running like a top. And with a new air conditioning compressor and R134 conversion, you can cruise in comfort, even on the hottest summer days. The seller has also gone the extra mile to make sure this El Camino is safe and reliable, with new rear brakes, front brakes, and wheel bearings. And with new AC Delco factory air shocks and a new 22-gallon fuel tank, you can hit the road with confidence. Now, the seller does note that the odometer has rolled over, so the actual mileage is unknown. But with all the work that's been done to this El Camino, you can be sure it's got plenty of life left in it. The exterior has been repainted in what the seller believes is the original yellow color, and while it may not be perfect, it's still a real head-turner. And with a clean and solid underbody and frame, you can tell this El Camino has been well cared for over the years. Inside, the interior is in nice shape with no tears or damage. And with all the recent upgrades, you can bet this El Camino is a blast to drive. But here's the real kicker. The seller is only parting with this beauty because they need a 404 for winter driving. That means you've got the opportunity to score a fantastic deal on a classic car that's been given a new lease on life. Imagine cruising down the highway in this sweet El Camino with that big V8 rumbling away under the hood. Or taking it to your local car show and watching jaws drop as people marvel at the incredible work that's been done to this classic ride. So if you're in the market for a reliable daily driver with a ton of character and a great story to tell, this 1980 Chevrolet El Camino might just be the one for you. And at just $9,500, it's a whole lot of car for the money. Of course, as with any classic car purchase, it's always a good idea to give it a thorough inspection before pulling the trigger. But if everything checks out, you could be driving off into the sunset in this sweet El Camino before you know it. 17. We've got a real classic on our hands, a 1964 Dodge Polara that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This beauty is priced at $15,000, and let me tell you, it's quite a catch. Now, I've got to be straight with you. The seller says the car is in good condition, and from what I can see, it looks pretty solid. The interior is apparently in excellent shape, with new carpeting and an AM/FM radio. The exterior is a stunning red with a white top, which is a classic color combo that never goes out of style. Under the hood, you'll find a V8 318 wide motor, paired with an automatic transmission that features push-button controls. It's got power brakes and power steering, making it a breeze to drive. And let's not forget about those sweet Craigslist wheels. The odometer reads 36,000 miles, which is relatively low for a car of this age. The title is clean, so you shouldn't have any issues with ownership. However, it's important to keep in mind that this is a classic car, and it may have some quirks or issues that come with age. The seller doesn't mention anything specific, but it's always a good idea to thoroughly inspect the vehicle before making a purchase. Overall, if you're in the market for a vintage ride with plenty of character, this 1964 Dodge Polara might just be the one for you. It's got a great look, a solid set of features, and a price that seems fair for what you're getting. Just be sure to do your due diligence and check it out in person before making any final decisions. 18. We've got a real gem on Craigslist, a 1975 Oldsmobile Delta 88 that's sure to turn heads. This beauty is priced at $12,500, and from what the seller tells us, it's a deal you won't want to miss. First off, let's talk about the heart of this beast. Under the hood, you'll find a 455 V8 engine paired with a Hydra-Matic 3-speed transmission. The seller assures us there are no oil or transmission leaks, which is always a good sign. Plus, the car has been converted to fuel injection using an MSD system, giving it a modern twist on a classic ride. The exterior of this Delta 88 is in excellent condition, with a factory color repaint that looks great, albeit not perfect. There are virtually no dents or rust, and the body and frame are extremely clean for a car of this age. The vinyl top has some blemishes, but no rips or tears, adding to its vintage charm. Inside, the interior is in great shape, although some trim could use replacing. The seller mentions that the steering wheel isn't original, but they have the original and can swap it back if the buyer prefers. Now, let's be real. No classic car is perfect, and the seller is upfront about a few issues. The fuel gauge doesn't work, the brakes need bleeding, though they still stop the car just fine, and the radio is kaput. However, these are all relatively minor issues that shouldn't deter a true enthusiast. The seller also notes that the car could benefit from a tune-up of the MSD system to reach its full potential, But even as is, this Delta 88 is a blast to drive. They mention cruising at 85-90 mph on the freeway with ease, so you know it's got plenty of power. Overall, if you're looking for a classic ride with a ton of character and potential, this 1975 Oldsmobile Delta 88 is definitely worth checking out. With a little TLC, it could easily be a showstopper. And even in its current condition, it's more than ready for Sunday drives and leisurely cruises. So, if you're ready to experience the nostalgia and power of a true American classic, give this seller a call and see if this Delta 88 is the one for you. 19. We're diving into the world of unique classic cars with this 1965 Chevrolet Corvair that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This 500 model is priced at $8,900, and it's got a few tricks up its sleeve. First off, let's talk about what makes the Corvair so special. This compact car was introduced by Chevrolet in 1960 and featured a rear-mounted, air-cooled engine. It was a bold move by Chevy, and the Corvair quickly gained a reputation for its unique handling characteristics. Now, let's get back to the car at hand. This 65 Corvair is a 500 model, which means it's got a few upgrades over the base model, including better interior trim and additional exterior brightwork. The seller mentions that it's equipped with a 3-speed manual transmission, which should make for a fun and engaging driving experience. The exterior of this Corvair is finished in a striking purple color, which is sure to turn heads wherever you go. The seller states that the car is in good condition, but as with any classic vehicle, it's important to give it a thorough inspection before making a purchase. Under the rear hood, you'll find a 6-cylinder engine. The Corvair's engine is known for its unique design, and it's a big part of what makes this car so special. The seller doesn't provide many details about the engine's condition or performance, so that's definitely something you'll want to investigate further. The odometer shows just 33,000 miles, which is relatively low for a car of this age. However, it's always a good idea to verify the accuracy of the mileage and check for any signs of wear or damage that may not be immediately apparent. Overall, if you're looking for a classic car that's a bit out of the ordinary, this 1965 Chevrolet Corvair 500 could be a great choice. Its unique rear-engine design, manual transmission, and eye-catching purple exterior make it a standout among vintage vehicles. Just be sure to do your due diligence and thoroughly inspect the car before making any final decisions. So, if you're ready to experience the quirky charm of a Corvair, why not give this one a closer look? With its good condition and relatively low mileage, it could be a fun and rewarding addition to any car enthusiast's collection. 20. All right, let's dive a little deeper into this 1981 Buick Riviera, shall we? First off, can we just take a moment to appreciate the fact that this car has been in the same family for over 40 years? That's a testament to the quality and reliability of Buick's craftsmanship from that era. Now, let's talk about that diesel engine. In the early 80s, General Motors experimented with diesel engines in some of their passenger cars, including the Riviera. While diesel engines are known for their fuel efficiency and durability, they didn't quite catch on in the US market at the time. This makes finding a Riviera with a diesel engine a pretty rare occurrence these days. The seller mentions that the car has only 33,000 original miles, which is incredibly low for a vehicle of this age. It's clear that this Riviera has been well cared for over the years, and the excellent condition it's in reflects that. The fact that it's got a clean title is also a big plus, as it means there are no hidden surprises or issues with the car's history. As for the rest of the car, the Riviera was known for its spacious and comfortable interior, as well as its smooth ride thanks to the front-wheel drive setup. With an automatic transmission, it's an easy car to drive and would make a great cruiser for weekend getaways or trips to car shows. The seller's mention of the price being negotiable is also worth noting. While $10,000 might seem like a fair price for a classic car in this condition, there's always the possibility of working out a better deal if you're serious about making this Riviera yours. Overall, this 1981 Buick Riviera is a unique find that's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. Its combination of rarity, excellent condition, and low mileage make it a compelling choice for anyone in the market for a classic car with a bit of a twist. If you're interested, it's definitely worth reaching out to the seller and seeing if you can make a deal. Who knows, you might just end up driving home in a piece of automotive history.